My name is Beth Gullett. I am the Senior Digital Marketing Manager for Signal Boosters. Our team is excited to announce that we will carry and install the SureCall 5G C-band signal booster. Our expert team can help you make the right choice to boost your signal within your building. I'm joined today with Hongtao Zhan, CEO and founder of SureCall, and Saddruddin Currimbhoy, CEO of Signal Boosters and Bolton Install Pros. Today, we will be answering questions about SureCall's latest product, the SpeedLink 5G C-band booster. So Mr. Zhan is the founder and CEO of SureCall. He is the innovation and technology leader of the cell phone signal booster industry based in the Silicon Valley since 2001. Currimbhoy has decades of experience in the RF and communications field. He began signalboosters.com in 2011, and the website has grown to include enterprise products and turnkey installation with our partner, Bolton Install Pros. The partnership between the two organizations makes them a leader in the RF industry, not only from understanding the products, but also providing the professional expertise for installation of these complex RF systems.
So, first of all, I think that this particular device is a candidate for buildings of any size. So in our experience, we have installed signal booster systems on buildings as small as 10,000 square feet and up to 1,000,000 square feet. And we have the capacity to go even beyond that size if we need to. With this particular device, it can be either retrofitted so that any building that has, to Hong's point, good voice text and 4G system already, they would have the ability now to get 5G in there. Now, I think that, Hong just said that, maybe 80% of the buildings are going to need this particular device in their system. He was joking with me the other day, and he says, "I challenge you to bring me a single building that doesn't need this, because the signal at this frequency is so hindered by building materials that it's literally every building." And I think Hong actually quoted me this particular statistic, that there are today 85 billion square feet of commercial space that's available. And frankly, everybody needs it. And we can tailor a system fit for any size of a building and be in line of incredibly tight budgets if that's what it needs to be. And that's the beauty of this system. We threw the word game changer around, and it's not only a game changer from our ability to install it in a very quick and effortless and simple manner, with the amount of approvals, etc., very much streamlined, but also from a usability perspective, right? I mean, if you're talking about, and forgive me, Hong, I keep quoting you, so you'll have to pardon me for, but their team ran a test inside of their office with the booster off and having only 4G coming in, and they have 5G right outside their door. It's not coming in, and they had measurements like anybody, all of us would, on our speed test phones, which is 20 to 30 Mbps down, and we're going, oh whoopee, we can use this phone. You turn that booster on, it was 800 down, which is a game changer. It's only a matter of time in the next few years when every man, woman, and child in this country, and probably the world, is going to get used to that higher speed. Just as we were used to using dial-up, and now we cannot use dial-up, the existing speeds that are on 4G is something we will not be able to use any longer, because the new content is going to require that we go at this higher speed. And this device, and with all the work that Verizon and other carriers have done, is putting us at the cutting edge, or at the absolute forefront of this. I'm going to call it a revolution.
So that's interesting. So Mr. Zhan, Mr. Currimbhoy spoke about some of the speed tests that you run. What are the expected 5G speeds with this booster? And can you elaborate a little bit more on the tests that you run?
Absolutely. So with this booster, we're talking about a speed up to a gigabits per second. Gigabits per second. It's unheard of. It's crazy, right? For in building, inside the building, and in our own office, we did a test left and right, and typically we can reach 800 megabits per second already. 800, and Verizon in our location only use 100 megahertz bandwidth. So as they expanded their bandwidth to 160, which they have, so this thing going to go through one gigabits per second for sure. And across the nation, that's going to happen. And think about it, 1 gigabits per second. That means you can download a high-D movie in 5 seconds.
So, Mr. Zhan, as a Verizon-approved booster, does this have FCC certification and can it work with other carriers?
Yes, FCC is like elementary, basic requirements. Verizon, on the other hand, is much harder. There's level, two order of magnitude differences. But we got both. As far as other carriers, yes. The beauty of this booster is it has two modes. It has narrowband mode which support Verizon across the nation. It also has a wideband mode, which it can be turned on remotely with the upgrade. It can support AT&T and T-Mobile and Verizon, all with one device. So it's very versatile. To add on what Sid just mentioned, this booster is also very versatile in the sense that yes, you can use them in parallel. Two of them, multiple of them in parallel cover, up to million square feet. And you can also cascade them together. In the Verizon's terms, called 2-hop, 3-hop, right? So you can have them cascaded together wirelessly. When you look at all this, it's amazing, how vertical, how adaptive this booster can do. It truly become a building block of a future network.
Mr. Currimbhoy, Mr. Zhan touched on the remote monitoring capabilities. So I have a two-part question. Are there recurring fees after you purchase the equipment from Signal Boosters? And then speaking to the cloud capabilities, what does Bolton Install Pros offer in terms of remote monitoring for this booster?
So the booster comes out of the box with a Verizon SIM card that SureCall provides with the first 3 years of coverage paid for. The end user can renew that after the 3 years to continue to have that capability of monitoring it remotely. What Bolton Install Pros does is it provides a much deeper, in-depth expert monitoring. By that I mean we have a in-house dedicated network operations center which allows our personnel here to look at each booster that is deployed in a very detailed manner. This allows us to create reports for the customer that shows the health of the booster periodically. It allows us to troubleshoot certain issues. It allows us to respond to any kind of alarms or anything like that, and potentially fix many of them on the spot. For every installation that Bolton Install Pros does, we provide this service free for the first 90 days, and then it can be purchased at a fee, at a very nominal fee actually, for subsequent periods of time. So, short answer to your question is the booster itself. To use it, there is no recurring fee. It is a one-time expense, but in order to get that additional layer of service, which will allow peace of mind, which will allow efficiency, reduce downtime, increase productivity. There are these additional units that can be purchased at a very, very nominal fee, as I stated.
Mr. Currimbhoy, what is the square footage that this booster covers, and can you stack multiple boosters in a building?
The booster is rated to cover 75,000 square feet, and this is something that has been tested by SureCall and proven to be the case. So that's a very exciting booster. Now, having said that, I think Hong repeatedly talked about the 3.7 to 3.9 gigahertz signal and the difficulty that it has to penetrate building materials. It also has the difficulty to penetrate any kind of equipment or furniture or internal walls that may be inside a building, which means that if there are a lot of internal walls and there's a lot of equipment, furniture, any kind of obstacles, then we have to get very creative if we want to get coverage throughout a building. We do this in a number of ways. The first way is, of course, by putting multiple antennas into a system. So we're able to service a particular space with a antenna and then do additional spaces with other antennas. This is very effective and allows us to mitigate a lot of those areas which might result in dead spots not because the booster isn't doing its job, it is, but because of the obstacles that are placed in this way that prevent the natural signal or the natural process of the signal getting to its desired end device. The other way that we do this in some instances is to stack the number of boosters that we put into a system. So the system is very versatile. As I mentioned, we've done buildings of up to 1 million square feet. We could also do that with this booster. And the way that we could do that is by stacking it. And it will allow us to use multiple boosters in a system. Our job is to tailor the most effective and cost-effective solution for any given building. So our process requires that we send out an individual to your location, do a detailed site survey, look at where cable pathways need to be, look at where things need to go, look at what obstacles we need to overcome, and then we bring it in and we use we have our RF engineers on staff, and they use complicated software, one by the name of IB Wave. Some listeners or viewers rather, may have access or knowledge of that software. But what it does is that it allows us to generate predictive heat maps on what our booster can do and where it can reach. Some solutions might only require a spot coverage, so we can do that. Some may require wall-to-wall coverage, and we can do that and find ways to overcome these obstacles. So we've got that ability to tailor the solution to any situation, literally, as long as there's C-band signal coming outside the building. We're not creating signal out of thin air. We need signal to boost. As long as that comes in, we can service your building.
So what's the advantage of using the MIMO over a SISO antenna?
So MIMO is one of the hallmark of 5G. 5G system, you have to have MIMO. It's a worldwide standard. The beautiful thing about a MIMO is MIMO typically, in our experience, can almost double the data rate, the data rate, and also make the coverage more complete. And of course, from a carrier's perspective, they almost double the usage of efficiency of a spectrum. So it's industrial standard. You have to have it. For booster, we have to have it. Any booster that's not MIMO is not 5G. And your cell phone is MIMO. Your cell tower is MIMO. Yes, we're getting into a MIMO world as we speak.
Okay, Mr. Currimbhoy. Also, just for the installers out there who might be watching, what type of cable and connectors are are included. We talked a little bit about the cable not being included and what it needs to be, but can you speak a little bit about the connectors?
Sure. Well, if you won't mind, but I'd like to kind of just touch on the cables as well. I think that one of the great things about this is that it is set up to be used with normal quarter-inch or half-inch cable that most installers are using anyway, which is just amazing in its own right, right? So we're not reinventing anything over here. From a connectors wise, there are two types of connectors. One is the regular end connector that is very much in use within the signal booster industry, but it also introduces a new type of connector, the 4.3-10, which is going to be more and more prominently used, and we're seeing that coming out in more and more devices. So once again, cutting edge product, cutting edge accessories. The good thing also about allowing us to use regular coax cable is we are able then to comply with any building code requirements. We're able to put in plenum cables when needed. We're able to conduit them when needed. We're able to use half-inch when needed. So it gives us that same degree of flexibility that the installer community base has had for decades. So, by the way, if you wouldn't mind, Beth, just allowing me to touch on one additional point here is the system also allows us to go back and retrofit existing systems that have 4G voice and text capability to add the 5G capability by using it side by side. Of course, our installers are going to have to go in and make necessary changes to make that happen, but it is very much designed to work side by side with those existing boxes, which allows the user to have coverage for literally everything cellular and not be left behind in this. And and I apologize, I'm going to use the word again, revolution. It is nothing short of that. I mean, for the business community and for the individual, I mean, it's content is going to demand it, and we've been teased with 5G now for 2 or 3 years. But let's face it, the 5G that we've been given thus far is not much of a leap over the 4G that we already had. There has been an improvement. This is an actual leap. This is an actual jump, and it's here, and it can be bought, and it's today. So get on the train.